Hi guys, my name is Michaela, and for video forum number 1, I am doing it off of the Rochester riots. So, while watching the documentary, I think we all seen that the white privilege was just deeply rooted in Rochester, New York. So, in the 1950s, Rochester, New York began to swell with African Americans. These African Americans are from the deep South, and they migrated to Rochester in hope of a better life. They was hearing all these things about how Rochester had these manufacturing jobs, and they had this social justice history. They were just hearing all these good things, that made them want to move. They made that big decision to up and move their whole life to Rochester, to the north. So when once they moved everything up and they moved to the north, they were facing employment discrimination, and they was facing housing discrimination. They was going through a lot, so there was a lot of tensions building up. The tension started building as the African Americans started increasing in Rochester. These individuals had to face unemployment. They was getting humiliated by their white neighbors, being called names, this and that. It was just so many discriminatory actions that created the atmosphere for the riot that took place July the 24th. So basically leading up to that riot, so much tensions with the black community. It was they're just got so much going on. You know, those tensions are building within them. Like I said, with the unemployment, and they just getting discriminated about things, this and that. It was just so much built up inside them. So July 24th, 1964, the police were coming to make an arrest at a block party. They were coming to arrest 19-year-old black male Randy Monagaltz. I probably butchered his name. I'm so sorry. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. But they were coming to arrest him because he was publicly intoxicated at this block party. He was just plain out drunk. It was word that he was harassing a woman. It's just so many other details that was included, but not really sure if they're all true or not. But we do know that the police came to arrest him for being publicly drunk. So when watching it, I was just like, at first, how could a simple arrest as just coming to arrest someone because they're drunk turn into a 3-day streak of violence, basically? So there was approximately 400 individuals protesting, and with the amount of violence coming from the protesters, looting, them breaking windows, throwing rocks at the police cars, and the officer like hosing down these protesters. It's just so much violence going on over an arrest. And like I mentioned, like, these individuals are fed up, they're tired. Like, this is how they're basically showing their emotions of what they're going through. So July 25th, the altercations from the previous night, July 24th, it carried into the next day, so it was declared an emergency by the New York governor. The city manager also tried to establish protocols to eliminate the amount of violence happening, but it continued dispute, like the curfews that he had put out, things like that. Like, no matter what the protocols had going on for these few days, it was being ignored. It was still happening, the riots and everything was still happening. So, once everything calmed down and everything was done, approximately there was a total of 250 stores looted, 4 were pronounced dead, 350 were injured, and 900 were arrested. So it's just like, I don't even know what to say anymore. But yeah, that's what I had. That's my little spiel on the Rochester riot.